Comes, there you go. Yeah.
Berman comes jinking from the left-hand lane to the right.
Yeah,
because everybody's chopping in front of him. He goes, right, I'm going for the gap. Watch the car that comes over from the right of your screen to the left. Now, that's Berman.
There's no way you could have seen that. You can't place any blame on Berman for that. That's,
no, absolutely no.
One of those things.
Completely faultless. And in fact, the blue car that went off, Rodolfo Gonzalez rather. Oh!
They're very lucky. I mean, they actually caught him quite a glancing blow. It was the front right corner of Berman's car to the left rear of Yamamoto's car. Had he caught him, tubbed to gearbox, that would have been a big hit.
Tell you what, though, Yamamoto's car, as you say, if he'd hit him right behind, he would probably actually have gone straight over the top.
Yeah, that would have been very nasty indeed.
I mean, you think back to Ernesto Vizo's accident. He went straight up the back of the car, almost launched by the airbox, and they're coming through the pit lane. Oh, this is going to completely banjax us now, because it now says that everybody has made a pit stop, but of course they haven't. They've gone over the pit lane marker.
In all that excitement, we've got Perez leading with Hulkenberg sitting behind him in second.
Made a good start, didn't he? Made a very good start.
Actually, I think it was okay. I think Hulkenberg was a pretty poor start. That was the biggest thing. He's just spun his wheels and didn't get traction at all.
Now, what happened to Rodriguez? I think he got away very slowly from the third row of the grid. Yeah, he's way down at the back of the queue. So it was Roldan Rodriguez, PK car, that we saw going across the gravel. He has rejoined. And you can see that they are trying to make sure that, well, I mean, obviously you don't want to stop and then restart the race, but actually, realistically, if we don't want all the cars blowing up because they're overheating, we may be in a position, if they can't clear the track quickly, although they've got the wreckage out already, I think.
Well, I mean, if the concern is that there's carbon fibre shrapnel on the start lines, you can see there, they should have marshals sweeping the track off now to get it clear, surely.
Or a sweeping truck. Well, there you see Hjalmar Berman, and behind him second Yamamoto, Rodolfo Gonzalez, that I think is, walking away, and second Yamamoto also out of the race. So 1 lap down, 3 cars gone. And fortunately, from that huge explosion of machinery, there are no visible injuries whatsoever. Getting ready to restart this race in Qatar, with Sergio Pérez leading the queue from poleman Nico Hulkenberg. Vitaly Petrov, the second of the Campos cars, is in third ahead of points leader Kamui Kobayashi, Davide Valsecchi, who's second in points, and Javi Villa round out the top half dozen. Now the question is, can Perez nurse this car through the first couple of corners on what will be still cold tyres? It's going to be like a rolling start of a race. Hulkenberg right behind, and they should have a green flag. The safety car has pulled off. They have got a green flag. Now, well, what on earth was that? He was weaving across the line. Behind, they've seen a green flag and they're racing. Was that me? Did they not? They didn't, did they? Perez was told not to go, surely, by somebody on the radio. There's no green flag.
Yeah, they didn't look as though they were racing, did it, the first two cars?
He was weaving and Hulkenberg made no attempt to go by.
That's what I meant.
So, all right, well, there we go.
We're off anyway.
But yeah, I think we're off. Everybody safely across the line this time. Alfarden and Chen are still at the back of the field, both of them having stalled in the back of the safety car queue. We're looking back from James Jakes, who was down in 15th place. Perez leads, pulling away from Hulkenberg. Petrov, Kobayashi, where's he? Oh, poor restarting by the Japanese. Valsecchi equally 2 seconds behind the Durango car, with Javi Villa all over the back of him. So Villa at least is awake. But I don't think the lack of green flag at the line really helped very many of the restarters there. Probably put them off more than anything. Here comes Villa having a look at Valsecchi. And the Spaniard, who started his GP2 race-winning career with a habit of 8th place in the feature race and winning the sprint race of a Sunday morning supporting Grand Prix. Now looking for 5th position, just behind Jerome D'Ambrosio and Alvaro Parent. So D'Ambrosio in 8th place, Alvaro Parent in 9th at the moment, and just in front of them Eduardo Mortara. Somebody's into the pit lane, and was that D'Ambrosio or Parent? We'll find out in a moment. always assuming the timing is now going to count pit stops, having shown everybody to have made 4 already. Perez trying around the outside, looking back now from Valsecchi. It's D'Ambrosio in the pits. So he may well have found that the tyres weren't exactly quite as nice as he'd hoped for.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was early days to be guessing things like that. I mean, everyone at the moment's going to be in tippy toes because the tyres lost all of their temperature on those laps behind the pace car.
Yeah, from 8th place, I'm surprised he went in so early. Not so surprised that Davide Rigon has gone in early, because the Italian was a long way down the order. He has made his stop as well. This is his first GP2 race. Looking back from Valsecchi, there's Javi Villa right behind him still. Hulkenberg with the fastest lap of the race at the moment in 2nd place, starting to close the gap on leader Perez. And as you say, Gareth, after a 20-minute safety car period, there's probably more temperature in the driver's feet than there was in his tyres.
Yeah, it'll take a good, I mean, with the ambient being quite cool, it'll take a good couple of laps, 2 or 3 laps to get the proper temperature into these tyres, so the car won't feel great.
Valsecchi still under pressure from Villa. The one problem with this racetrack really is that it's got a kilometre-long straight and then just endless corners. Left, right, left, right, right, left, right, and so on and so on and so on. Great for motorcycle racing where you can get 2 or 3 abreast, but a little more tricky for the GP2 cars.
Yeah, I think it's a nice venue and a nice one of those tracks that's great to just drive on. But when you've got to go and race on it, that's a different matter, unless you happen to be in Perez's position where you're leading the race. Getting past is very difficult.
And again, Villa showing that, because at the end of the straight, when he's right on the gearbox, Valsecchi just moves over into the middle of the road. Villa's not got enough speed to go around the outside, not enough room to go up the inside. So it's a pretty easy door to shut. Michael Herc in the pit lane. So our 3 pit stoppers, Jerome D'Ambrosio and Davide Rigon, now 21st and 22nd. And Gareth, that's the problem with stopping early, is that every car is so close to each other. There's a whacking great knot of cars, which you wouldn't have normally after half an hour of racing. They'd be all spread out with half a second or a second between each one. Yeah,
well, that's the risk of going in too soon, isn't it? You end up coming out still in a knot of cars, or catch them very quickly and getting stuck in it. Any benefit you gain from an early stop is lost by being like Villa's position, where he's quicker than the car in front but just can't get past.
Looking now at Álvaro Perez, closing on Eduardo Mortara in the Arden car. And our race leader Sergio Pérez, now leading on lap 9, has led 30 laps continuously, because he's been in the lead of GP2 Asia race since the beginning of the sprint in Bahrain. So he's been leading now for 3.5 weeks. Right, Sean's given us 30 laps. Let's see how many minutes he figures out since the start of the Bahrain sprint race. And Perez holding Hulkenberg as well. He's now set the fastest lap of the race. They're in just about in the 1 minute 40s, 1:40.03 for Perez. And Mortara just holding on from Perez there, but not by much. And Valsecchi in front of Villa. No, he's not. Yes, he is. That's a different Durango car. There's Perez, and again, same deal. Perez being brave around the outside. Well, it goes into a left-hander.